It's time to talk about fall releases. I'm so excited for fall to be here. I'm sick of summer. I'm sick of sweating. And it's better for like all of the outdoor activities in the PNW, in my humble opinion, in the fall because it's a little bit cooler. And to reiterate, to be taken so seriously, I'm a sweaty girl and I need it to be fall. But today, we're not talking about how much I sweat. We're talking about fall releases. There are so many, specifically in September, that are coming out. There's a lot of just what I'm most excited for this year still to come out, which is great for me. My NetGalley shelf is looking a little, begging for attention, but let's get into it. I'm also not going over every single book that I'm excited for because we would be here forever, but I'll do my best to give you the highlights. September 2nd is our first release day, and the first one I want to talk about is Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. I've actually already read this. It's so beautiful. We're following Matilda, who is a goddess, and she falls in love with this mortal man, this mortal lord, and they first meet when they're children and then don't actually, due to circumstances, they're not able to fully connect until they're adults, and it is so sweet. The writing is so stunning. I've not read another Rebecca Ross, but I'm very excited to now. This, I think, is more comparable to A River Enchanted versus Divine Rivals, despite it being in the Divine Rivals universe. And I haven't read Divine Rivals, but I didn't feel the need to have read it. I was never confused. It's pretty standard setup, but the magic systems were cool. The gods were really interesting. I can't wait to read more from Rebecca Ross. This was a 5-star read for me, and I think it's also so incredibly perfect for the fall time. A Land So Wide by Aaron A. Craig. I think it may be an aardvark pick, and if so, it will be my September aardvark pick. And it's so beautiful looking. It's very naturey fall, I think. This is an irresistible blend of dark fairy tale and romantasy set in the beautiful but brutal Canadian wilderness, which I'm very interested in. The PNW is pretty close to the Canadian wilderness. I feel like it's leveled up there. I'm very intrigued by this. I don't think I've read anything by Aaron A. Craig, but this is really calling my name. It's speaking to me. I've seen really excellent reviews for Breathe In, Bleed Out by Brian McCauley. This is a Midsummer Night's Scream in this blood-soaked thriller set in a remote healing retreat. A couple of the people that I follow have liked this already, and I love the cover. I think the cover is so stunning. Moonflow by Bitter Corella is a gloriously queer and irreverent psychedelic trip into the heart of an eldritch wood and the horrors of sisterhood. Answer the call of the forest if you dare. I started this one. This one is really weird, and the tone is incredibly irreverent in a pretty fun way. I'm liking it. I think it's going to be a solid 4-star, but again, I'm only halfway through this one, and the forest is really sassy. The cult that our main character encounters is just absurd, and I know we don't have all the information yet at the point that I'm reading it, but I am really enjoying it so far. All right, moving on to September 9th, we have Hot Wax by ML Rio. I love ML Rio's writing. I was really frustrated by Graveyard Shift, though. This is going much better for me. I am not very far through at this point. Hopefully done with it by September, though. This is about a woman who's on the run trying to escape her past, and her dad was a bit of a rock star, not super successful. I am anticipatory of this being supernatural in some way. I'm hoping so. Otherwise, I'll be a little bit disappointed if it's more just a crime situation. But I love this cover, and the inner monologue of our main character, it just feels really believable, really real to me so far. And we got a little glimpse into her childhood. Her mother was overworked and a bit of a single parent, a bit neglectful, and she had the run of this mall and grew up in a record store basically, which is just really, it just brings me into it. It feels really fun, and I'm excited to continue it. I think the cover is just so good. You Weren't Meant to Be Human by Andrew Joseph White. This is an adult debut, and it's a lot. It is very much not like his YA horror. His YA horror I thought was a lot for being YA, but still felt YA. This is absolutely incredibly adult. It holds no punches. I think that it goes too far, and I had a bit of a hard time reading it, but it's absolutely going to be for some people out there. This is almost, I would argue, not maybe splatterpunk or like splatterpunk adjacent. And I didn't know that going into it, and it has a lot to say, a lot of which I agree with, but it's a very tough read. Genuinely, please look up your triggers for this one. But we're following Crane, who is a trans man and a part of this cult that he believes saved him, and he's in a bit of an abusive relationship, and this cult, this hive mind, is worms. There's a lot of worms in this book. And we follow Crane's journey through forced pregnancy. And it's a very tough journey, obviously. This is not something he wanted. It's something the hive mind wants and is forcing him to go through. And he's trying to reconcile the way that he used to felt about the hive mind of this great savior of his with forcing him to do this. And obviously it's having a lot to say, just like with our current climate. And it's a hard read. And as someone who is not interested in having kids, this is like one of my greatest fears. And it was genuinely tough to read. I'm not super into like pregnancy horror, so just be aware of that going into it. And then we have Coffin Moon by Keith Rawson. I'm super excited for this one. This is a vampire road trip story of sorts, but also like apocalyptic vibes. We're following a man who is a bartender, a bit down on his luck, and he has to take his stepdaughter from Oregon to North Dakota. I've pitched this one a few times at this point because it's been on a few TBRs, but I'm extremely excited about it. And Keith Rawson seems like such a genuine human being. I've seen him in talks a few times at author events, so I'm extra excited to get to this one. I'll get to see him in conversation with Darcy Coates at the beginning of September for her new book, and I'm gonna get it signed by him, and I want to have it read by then to be able to talk about it. So this is just very cool to have, and I have started it just barely, but I'm really liking the rating so far too, which is exciting. I have loved the Knock Knock Open Wide this year. It was weird, it was queer, I really enjoyed it, so I'm very excited to get to The Burial Tide by Neil Sharpson. This also comes out September 9th. We're still on September 9th. It's a big day for releases apparently, especially for horror, and this is more of an ocean horror one, I believe. A woman who can't remember her death, an island with a terrible secret, a past that refuses to stay buried, but the sea remembers it all. And this is a sea lion, which I did not clock on first viewing of the cover, but that has me very excited. This could get really gory, really weird, so it's one of my most anticipated releases for the season. And then House of Idol by Delilah S. Dawson. I've had a win and a miss from Delilah S. Dawson, so this is going to be kind of the deciding factor on whether I continue with this author, I think. And is surrounding one thing that I really enjoy, which is cults, and another thing which I have not found a lot of enjoyment with my horror, and that's like rock stars and the music industry. I got a little bit burned earlier this year by the Craig DeLuia book because it was not very interesting. I'm more hopeful for this one because it's much shorter, and I think it's going to air more on like the cult vibes than the rock star vibes, which I can get down with. Tagline for this one is a darkly seductive tale of beautiful rock stars, sinister cults, and a magical oasis where dreams come true for a price. So I'm assuming she's gonna like sell her soul or something, and I'm super into it. Not super into the whole like unicorn imagery, but I guess we'll see. The Bells by Lena Dunham is a richly atmospheric dark academia debut novel. A young woman with a secretive past will risk everything, including her life, to fit in. It's kind of giving Bunny, but maybe even like darker. I'm definitely into it. I struggle to find where I fit in with dark academia because I like it as a concept, but oftentimes in execution I'm less excited about it. But I think this one will be worth a shot. Okay, we're finally on to September 16th, and we have a big one releasing this day, both probably in size and just the people anticipating it, if we have anything off of her past releases to go off of, and that's the next book in the Roots of Chaos series by Samantha Shannon, Among Burning Flowers. It's a prequel, and I believe this prequel is chronologically between A Day of Fallen Night and Priory of the Orange Tree, and I think it really fits beautifully in with all the covers. I'm very excited about it. I still need to get to A Day of Fallen Night. I was a little bit hesitant of it because I did not enjoy Priory as much, but I've heard a lot of people like A Day of Fallen Night more. So I'm hopeful that the trend is continuing in the direction of me enjoying these books, because I do enjoy Samantha Shannon's writing. To Clutch a Razor by Veronica Roth. This is the next book in her Slavic folklore novella series. I really enjoyed When Among Crows. I'm not necessarily looking at the synopsis for To Clutch a Razor. I think I remember enough from book 1 and don't want to get too spoiled for book 2. I am more hesitant to actually look at synopses now, because I feel like they're erring on the side of movie trailers where they give away too much. So I want to be surprised. I already know that I want to read this. I enjoyed book 1 and I'm excited for book 2. The Whistler by Nick Medina. I've not read Nick Medina yet, but I do want to try out one of his horror books. He's like pretty consistently on the Goodreads Choice Awards ballot, so that is enough for me to at least be interested in trying the author out. And this one specifically is about a young man that's haunted by a mythological specter bent on stealing everything he loves. That sounds pretty generic, but again, I just want to try out this author. On September 23rd, there's quite a few, mostly horror books that I'm excited for. Spread Me is one that I've already read, but this is by Sarah Gailey. It's my first one by Sarah Gailey, but definitely not my last. This one is absolutely bonkers. It's about a woman who is the lead researcher in this desert situation. It's like a 4-year-long contract, and all of the other people on this research team have been, I think they said, like sexual musical chairs or something. But she's not interested. She has a different sexual orientation. She's into bacteria. And it gets really, really weird. And I think that it is similar or takes inspiration from John Carpenter's The Thing, which I have not consumed that piece of media, but we own it actually. And we'll be watching it hopefully this season, and I can give a better, opinion on that. But just know, it's bonkers. I have one where I think the cover really sucked me in, and the synopsis sealed the deal for me, and that's Slash Beauties by A. Rushby. This is a gothic feminist body horror in 2 timelines revolving around 3 anatomical Venuses, ultra-realistic wax figures of women that come to life at night to murder men who have wronged them. That's so for me. That's so beyond for me, and I'm very excited for it. I really hope that the writing is there for me, because I don't think I've read anything by A. Rushby. I don't know if this is a debut or not. One that I gave 5 stars to is The Second Death of Locke by V.L. Bovolino. I think some people are definitely going to take issue with certain parts of this. It's not going to be a 5-star for most people, but I'm such a sucker for yearning. I can overlook a lot of other things. The yearning is so strong in this. It's so beautiful. For some reason, it's also part of a trilogy. I think that it could have been an excellent standalone. It wraps up really nicely at the end. We're following a knight who is a well for her partner, not romantic partner, like war partner, and he's her mage. And the way the magic system works in this world is that there is a well and a mage. The mage can use the magic, the well is the source of the magic, which I think is really interesting. And they have to go on this quest for reasons. I love the quest aspect. I love the yearning. I think the ending was my perfect ending. There was still absolutely consequences for what happens, but also it didn't end up in one of my least favorite tropes, which it could have. That was like one of the options. So I'm glad that it didn't, and I am going to be screaming from the rooftops how much I love this book. And then a lot of people's most anticipated book of the fall, I think, is going to be We Love You Bunny by Mona Awad. Do you like my bookmark? I made that. I think she's very cute. It's from recycled paper. Anyways, I think this is going to be a lot of people's anticipated, and I liked Bunny. I'm loving this book. The tone is just kind of batshit insane, I guess. And it says that it's a prequel, but we're actually following the same timeline of Bunny, but from the perspective of all of the other bunnies. So they're all crazy. It's almost reminding me of Girl Interrupted meets Bunny, if you want like the vibes. And I really like it so far. There's one more release date in September. September's not even that long, but the Tuesdays just line up correctly, I think. So we have September 30th. One of my most anticipated books of the year is House of Rain by Harley LaRue. This is their first sapphic book, and I think it's more of like a gothic romance versus like paranormal romance. 2 women with very different lives share a night of passion planning on being a one-night stand, only they meet again at a remote island in the Pacific Northwest where one of them runs her family's bed and breakfast. the vibes. A series of mysterious and increasingly bizarre events plague the island, and together they must determine who or what is haunting the House of Rain. Yeah, I'm going to be reading that as soon as I possibly can. I'm so excited. I love Harley LaRue. Their romance is just top tier for me. It's so romantic, and I can't wait for this one. I'm excited that they're finally writing sapphic romance. Then we also have The Hunger We Pass Down by Jen Sukfong Lee. The comps and the cover got me for this one. I have not read this author before. Jordan Peele's Us meets The School for Good Mothers in this horror-tinged intergenerational saga as a single mother's doppelganger forces her to confront the legacy of violence that has shaped every woman in their family. I, again, am overlooking my hesitancy for motherhood horror because this sounds really good, and I really enjoyed Us by Jordan Peele. I think that's the thing that is really convincing me to anticipate and want to read this book. And then we're getting the third book in the What Moves the Dead series by T. Kingfisher. This one is called What Stalks the Deep, and the knight in these books is going to America, to West Virginia. And I think Appalachia can get real freaky real fast, so I'm anticipating this. I haven't read book 2. I haven't heard great things about book 2, but I thought book 1 was genuinely scary, genuinely freaked me out. Okay, we finally get to move on to October. It was a long one for September. Each of these are going to get significantly shorter. I'm only going through November, but there's less in October, even less in November. October 7th is the first release date, and obviously I'm excited for Mate by Allie Hazelwood. I don't know who this is going to follow, but it's another werewolf story, I believe, and I don't need to know. I just know I'm gonna giggle and kick my feet and then probably not remember 90% of the plot in a couple months, and that's really all I want from this book. We're also getting the sequel to Witch King from Martha Wells, which I haven't checked out yet, but I want to. It initially had not great ratings, but now I've heard more positive things about it, and this one is Queen Demon. This is a fantasy of epic scope and a story of power and friendship, of trust and betrayal, and of the families we choose. And I'm such a sucker for a chosen family. That is one of my favorite tropes of all time. It rivals enemies to lovers, which is crazy because I do love enemies to lovers. But I am unfortunately going to miss Martha Wells being in Portland when she's here, which is really sad. But I'm excited for this series nonetheless. I also need to finish Murderbot. We're also getting Herculean by Grace Byron. This is about a trans woman who goes to be a camp counselor at a camp for trans girls, I believe, is the premise, but something is not right here, and also people from her past are back to haunt her or whatever, and I think it'll be good. I really like the cover. I'm very intrigued by it. I think that this is a debut for Grace Byron, and I think it should be really good. Then we get Cinder House by Freya Marsk. This is a novella, I'm pretty sure. Sparks fly and lovers dance in this gorgeous yearning Cinderella retelling. It's a queer gothic romance, perfect for fans of Naomi Novik and T. Kingfisher. I really need to get to Naomi Novik, but I will be reading this at some point, for sure. Moving on to October 14th. We get The Graceful Patient by Caitlin Starling. This is a gothic hospital horror, and I think it's a bit of not knowing what is real, trying to figure out, who you are, or why you're there kind of situation, and I think that's so freaking scary. I know Caitlin Starling is hit or miss for people. She's only been hit for me because I've only read one book by her, but I am anticipating enjoying this book. We also get The Works of Vermin by Erin Innes. I really enjoyed Leech by this author last year, and they are staying true to themselves in doing buggy horror. This is about a big ol' worm and about a guy named Guy who has to exterminate this worm. He has no options left. He's trying to save his sister, and I think it should be genuinely disgusting. Monster hunters tangle with court politics in a dark and decadent fantasy adventure. I am enjoying this emerging genre of dark fantasy, horror fantasy, medieval fantasy. I think it's going to be very much for me, and I just can't wait to find more of these. I think they're going to get published more frequently too, and I'm so about it. We're also getting a new, I don't know if it's YA fantasy, but the protagonist is YA age. She's a teen. All That We See or Seem by Ken Liu. This sounds like peak dystopian YA from when I was the age for it. I'm so excited about it. I think that it's going to be so good. This is a near future techno thriller, and it's about Julia Z, an orphan hacker who uses her AI whispering skills to rescue a kidnapped dream artist. It sounds like a CW show, and I'm hoping that it brings that energy because then I will very much enjoy it. We also get Futility by Nizo Ono, and I'm so excited for this one. I am trying to get other people excited for this. This is for readers of Oyen Khan Braithwaite's My Sister the Serial Killer, which I haven't read yet, and Bella Mackey's How to Kill Your Family. Also have not read that. But this is a monstrous, gleeful, bitingly funny tale of murder, body swapping, and bloody vengeance. And it's soup. Like, what more could you ask for, honestly? Okay, we're moving on to October 21st. There's a lot of sapphic books coming up this day, which is very exciting. We're getting a new book from Tasha Suri, The Isle of the Silver Sea. This is a heart-shattering romantasy of sapphic longing, medieval folklore, and a love that spans the centuries. And it is Lady Night Fall now. We moved on from Lady Night Summer. We're into Lady Night Fall, and I'm very excited for this one. We also get this chonker, not sapphic, but it's King Sorrow by Joe Hill. I have heard really good things about this so far, which I was a little bit anxious for this one. I've not read anything by Joe Hill. I've not heard like exclusively good things about his books, but this is more in the fantasy side versus horror, and it's about dragons, if you could not tell. And it's about a man who is trying to be in love, but unfortunately the local drug dealer is out to get him. So he has to figure that out first. Yeah, I will be reading it in September, and it will probably take me a while, but I'm excited about it. We're also getting The Lost Reliquary by Lindsay Ellie, and I'm very excited about this one. It's Comte to Gideon the Ninth. Lots of things are Comte to Gideon the Ninth, but I think this one is going to earn it. I think it has a lot of sapphic angst and like just messy sapphics in it in general. It sounds really, really good. And it's about a divinely blessed warrior who outwardly serves her goddess, but dreams of killing her for her freedom. That sounds so good. We're also getting Girl Dinner by Olivia Blake. This is about a sorority that's full of cannibals and serial killers. I'm so excited. Olivia Blake is so funny, and I feel like she's so underrated. Like, I feel like a lot of people pick up her books and then don't totally love them. I have only picked up Gifted and Talented by her, but I adored that book. It's going to be in my top 10 of the year, and I can't wait. I just can't wait. This is just going to be such a fun book. I just know it in my bones. Okay, now we're on to October 28th. There's a lot of romantasy coming out this day that I'm excited for, like so much of it. I'm going to struggle picking what to read first. Luckily, I have an early copy of Our Vicious Oaths. I'm quite a good chunk into it, and I'm enjoying this so far. It's pretty like simply written, but it's still like a very fun time. And the magic system, one of the kingdoms ride on these creatures. It's very cool. And this is by Nia Davenport, which I read The Blood Trials by her, a very different book, but I'm still really enjoying this. I am going to continue to pick up her stuff. She may even convince me to read a contemporary romance, but this is a standalone. It's a romantic fantasy. It's a bit on the darker side. It's enemies to lovers, and it's juicy, can I say. We're also finally getting The Wrath of the Fallen by Amber V. Nicole. This is my most anticipated romantasy release and one of my like top 3 of the year. This is book 4 in the Gods and Monsters series by her, and it is peak enemies to lovers. It's enemies to lovers to enemies to lovers, probably. And she said this was her most romantic book yet. Actually, I think book 5 is her most romantic book yet because she's editing that right now. But this is book 4. Very excited for it. I cannot wait to get back to these characters. I love them so much. And let me pitch it to you, actually. It's about a god who is kind of fallen, and she's this the dragon creature with 2 legs, whatever they're called. She's one of those, and like under the thumb of this very like abusive man, basically, and she gets out and obviously falls in love with the god, and they're just trying to figure things out and stop the big bad from big badding. And Diana is so messy and so morally gray. She's a little bit evil, but in a way that I adore. And I cannot wait for book 4 to come out. Then we get Bonds of Hercules by Jasmine Mass, which is the sequel to Blood of Hercules. And the way Jasmine Mass writes, I'm gonna be so honest, it's like Wattpad energy, but if it's a good time. I've heard the audiobooks are pretty good, and I will be continuing with it because I have enjoyed Jasmine Mass. It's one of those books where you just like need something not super serious, and it's like if Hercules was a girl, it's Why Choose. I don't know, I'm not really convincing you to read it. It's just something that I'm anticipating. We're also getting Hazelthorn by C.J. Drews, which I've already read. This is very similar to Don't Let the Forest In by them, and it's just kind of a different setting. Don't Let the Forest In was at a school. Hazelthorn is at a very gothic manor. Very like similar energy, angst, relationships, that kind of thing. I really enjoyed it though. I would definitely recommend it. Then we get The Everlasting by Alex E. Harrow, and Alex E. Harrow is an author that I continually think that I'm going to really enjoy and then don't end up reading for some reason, but I would like to read this one. This is a moving and genre-defying adventure through time as a reluctant lady knight and a not-so-heroic historian will fight through time and space to rewrite their tragic fates and finally reveal the truth hidden beneath the greatest legends ever told. It begins where it ends, beneath the yew tree, a girl not yet a knight and a boy without a story. Ooh. It is where she pulls a sword from the heartwood and becomes a legend, and it is where more than 1,000 years later, he will find her, and lose her, and find her, and lose her again. Oh my gosh. It is where a new story will be written, but whose will it be? Like, how am I supposed to choose what I'm going to be reading on October 28th? Also, To Bargain with Mortals is coming out, which is from Bindery, and it's Emma Sky's imprint, so I'm extra excited about it. I actually don't know anything else about it because I don't want to. I know I'm going to read it because Emma Sky's is backing it. And it's by R.A. Basu. I don't want the author to not get her flowers. We're also getting another one from Thomas Oldhuvelt. This is obviously already published, I believe, in Dutch, but it's getting published in English now, and it's Darker Days. I don't know anything about this, but I do know that Curry Reads really liked it, so I'll be reading it. And I really enjoyed Hex by him last year. I'm going to be reading Echo this year for fall. I don't know that I'll get to this year, but it's something that I'm anticipating for sure. We're finally on to November, and I only have like 10 for November. Hold on, we're almost there. On November 4th, we're getting The King Must Die by Kemi Ashingiwa. This is a fantasy, and I think she's written sci-fi more so previously. But My Loyal Servant Onanth. Former ambassadors Juma and Kagiso Mekantai suffered a tragic accident this morning. My personal physician detected small amounts of poison in their bodies. Unfortunately, the chemical composition of the toxin is such that all traces of it will vanish by the time their corpses reach Ata. See that the daughter joins them. And I love the cover, and just hearing her speak has me excited for her books. Son of the Morning by Akwaeke Emezi comes out, and Akwaeke Emezi is another author that I am very anticipating, very much enjoying, but I have not read anything from this yet, and I have heard that it's like a pretty classic romantasy. It's fun, and I think I'm going to enjoy that. Akwaeke Emezi appears to be a chameleon of an author, similar in the way that like Sylvia Moreno Garcia is, in that they write lots of different genres and in lots of different ways, but their books are pretty consistently well liked. So I am excited to see what a standalone romantasy is going to look like from. We're getting The Sacred Space Between by Kaylee Reed, and if I'm being very honest, the title is what's really getting me to anticipate this book. I love that title. That sounds so intriguing. And this is a debut romantic fantasy by them. This is about an exiled saint that is tasked with being painted by a devout iconographer, leading to a story about finding solace and belonging in each other amidst a world where an institution uses memory magic to control its people. That sounds really good, and the cover looks really good. I don't know what else Kaylee Reed has written, but I'm definitely going to give this one a shot. The Sacred Space Between is just such a beautiful title. Then we're getting We're Not Safe Here by Rin Chapeko. I have not read from Rin Chapeko yet, but I've heard good things both about this and about Silver Under Nightfall and The Bone Witch, actually, by them. So, all good things. This is a YA horror, but I have been enjoying some YA horror this year, so I'm going to give this one a shot. Probably not this year. It's not like anticipated in a way that I need to get to it immediately, but I would like to get to it eventually. We're also getting the next book by Tigis Girma. I'm so excited about this. I loved Immortal Dark. I thought it was so good. It gave me Buffy vibes. It's about a girl who goes to this college to try and find her sister, and she thinks these vampires have taken them, and she has to live with the vampire that she thinks has taken her sister. And it is so juicy. We get a bit of the college, but it's academia in the way that I like, where the schoolwork is not the super big focus. It's not about a bunch of nerds. She's a very angry lady, as she should be, and just gets shit done in a way that I really respect. I'm very excited to see where she goes. She's pretty brutal and I love her. Kidan just kind of rocks, and I'm very excited for Eternal Ruin. Frothing at the mouth, truly. I will be reading this probably as soon as it comes out. It's probably my priority for November 4th. And my priority for November 11th, we're not surprised, is The Strength of the Few by James Islington. This is everybody's like most anticipated release of the year, so I am not unique or special for this, but just know I'm excited about it. The Will of the Many was my favorite book of last year. This is based on, I think, Roman history, and it's basically like an evil governmental MLM where power is in pyramids. The most powerful person is at the top, and everyone below them cedes a little bit of power to the person above them. And we're also at this school that has this very brutal end of year competition that Viz has to go through. He's also secretly used to be a prince, and is going to refuse to cede his power. Very excited for book 2. And book 1 ended on a cliffhanger, obviously. And I just can't wait for it. It's going to be so good. I can't wait for everyone to be reading it and talking about it. A big release like that, it feels like the book community comes together a little bit, and I think it's just really fun. Pivoting, we're also getting Between Two Kings by Lindsay Straub. This is insane. This is the Spit or Swallow series. It's about a basilisk. I haven't read book 1 yet. I'm very excited about reading book 1 though. I've heard good things, and it's just a beautiful book. So very anticipatory of that one. And then on November 18th, we're getting I'll Make a Spectacle of You by Beatrice Winfield Eicher. And this is a Southern Gothic horror debut from this author. There's something in the woods, and it has its eyes on Zora, who goes to this HCBU college, and there's just like obviously some dark history with it. So I think it's going to be really good. I've enjoyed a lot of debuts this year too, so I think that this will be one of them. That is it for all of the books that I'm anticipating this fall. Obviously there's more, but I think that's enough to talk about. Those are the ones that I'm most excited about. If I missed one that you're most excited about, please definitely let me know. I'm always looking to grow my TBR, even though it does not need it at all. And if you made it this far, don't have a new book to tell me that you're excited about, but just want to let me know that you're here. Give me a worm emoji, since I am anticipating 2, that's right, 2 worm books this fall. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that you added to your TBR with this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!